Hello, hello and welcome. Thank you for being with me here. Looks like we're recording. The purpose of this video, I wanted to do an introduction to the form I-90. An I-90 is a renewal or a replacement of a green card. So if you've received a green card, then hey, or if you have a green card that's expiring, or if you've lost or misplaced it, then you'll need to renew your green card. Sometimes the strategy is to also apply for citizenship if you're eligible for citizenship at this time. But for today's purposes, I'd like to show how we file an I-90 request for a green card. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. All right, so hopefully you can see this. And so this is the form I-90. When we go to i90.gov, let me pull up the website here for you so that you can see this. There's a big option here for filing online. I'm recording this on the 20th of May of 2020. I never trust the online system. I just have never preferred to do it that way. I send it via mail and send it with certified mail with like receipt requested, so that we can return receipt requested, so that we can prove that that application was delivered. And typically we're submitting it with a filing fee anyway, and so they're going to need the additional evidence and everything, and I like things to just be all together. So their online thing, I don't trust it. So and here is the filing fee. It's $455 plus the $85 biometrics fee. And so be aware of that. And there are exceptions to that. And so the exceptions are down here. The main one that we're going to be doing today is if the previous card was issued but never received, and that has a zero filing fee. And so that's great. You'll just need to include proof of it. And so, yeah, so there's that. Again, I don't recommend doing it online. I like doing it through paper. And to do that, if we click on the paper application, I can't remember where I went to get it. There was a place. Oh yeah, right here. File by paper. If you click here, it says filing options. File online, it's easy and convenient, or file on paper, the form I-90, we get the PDF, it's 7 pages, and get the instructions. So that's what I chose, form I-90 PDF, plus the instructions. I pull them both up, and then that's what I'm looking at over here. All right, so here I have a tab of the form I-90 itself, which we'll be going through today, and here I have the instructions for the I-90, just so that we're all on the same page, and you can go through and get the evidence that we need in order to do that. All right, so here we go. We'll do the form itself. So here we put in our A number. All right, we have a USCIS online account number. If any, typically our clients, we leave that blank. Your card will be issued in this name, and so this we want it to be very much identical with your legal name as it appeared on your previous green card, unless this fourth question is, has your name legally changed since the issuance of your green card? And so if it has, you know, if you've legally changed your name, then they'll ask you to put your previous name as it appeared on your green card and evidence of your legal name change. But typically we say, no, our legal name has not changed since the last time we got our green card. And then we proceed to items number 6A through I, which is our mailing address. And we put in the mailing address, put in the physical address only if it's different than the mailing address. Additional information, we fill all of this out, mother's name, father's name, class of admission. This you can get on the green card itself. I can show you. I'm going to do a Google search here for green card. and I'm going to look at the images. And so if we look at this, and you can see this is just an image of a sample of a green card. It says category right here, and here it says IR1. There are a lot of different admission categories, all right? IR1, I believe, is immediate relative spouse of U.S. citizen. So I believe that that's right, and there are different categories depending on how you got your green card, if you got it through asylum or through family-based or what have you. And so put that category in the form where it says class of admission, all right? For date of admission, we can go back here, and it always says resident since, and then it'll say a date, all right? And so look at your green card, and you've been a resident since whatever that date is, and put that as your date of admission on your I-90. All right, your U.S. Social Security number, put your Social Security number. And then if you're a conditional permanent resident, it says, then do not file this application. You're supposed to be filing an I-751. And so really, you're supposed to just check this if you're a lawful permanent resident, and that's typically what our clients are, all right? And so we would check that box 1A under Part 2, all right? And then reasons for the application. So this is going to affect what your filing fee is, all right? And so as I mentioned in the example that I'm going to be doing for my client here in just a minute is that his previous card was issued but never received. It got lost in the mail, and USCIS, we were trying to get it sorted out, and sometimes that can be a really frustrating situation, but that's what happened here. And so we're going to be doing an I-90 to get that green card sent because it was never received from the original submission, all right, even though we know that it was approved. So this is what we're checking, and that's great because there's no filing fee with it, all right? And so then let's see here. I do not believe... Okay, Section A, to be used only by lawful permanent residents. Select only one box. All right, so we just check one box out of all of this, and that is all we need. I just want to make sure we don't have to check this port of entry stuff. Typically, we're already in the United States, so I believe that we don't check any of these. I might double check the instructions just to make sure of that. And so there we are. Application type to be used by a conditional permanent resident. So if you're a conditional permanent resident and your previous card was lost, stolen, or destroyed, you can get a replacement of it here, all right? Or if it was mutilated, or if it was never received, or if there was incorrect data. Otherwise, you should be filing an I-751 to renew, to extend, to remove the conditions, really, from your conditional permanent resident status. All right, hopefully all that is makes sense. All right. Okay, going down forward, for processing information, the location where you applied for your immigrant visa or your adjustment of status. If you worked with a previous lawyer, they can get you this information. Sometimes it will say on previous receipt notices, for example, that you've received. Sometimes it does not typically say that on the green card itself. And so the question is, where did you apply for your immigrant visa, and where was your application issued? All right. And so complete items number 3A and 3A1 if you entered the United States with your immigrant visa. So this is like if you were approved with your green card through consular processing, and now at your port of entry, we've got to put the port of entry and your original destination. All right. Now it asks if you've ever been in exclusion, deportation, or removal proceedings. You'll say yes or no. And if you've ever abandoned, if you've ever filed Form I-407, which is a request to abandon your residence, hopefully the answer there to both of those is no, all right? If the answer to either of those was yes, I would recommend speaking to an immigration lawyer before submitting this, all right? Because you might not even be eligible to renew your green card. All right, then biographic information on page 3, pretty self-explanatory. Fill in all your biographic information, ethnicity, race, height, weight, eye color, hair color, things like that. Check yes if you are requesting accommodations because of a disability, or no. Excuse me, or no if not. And then they'll ask information about a disability. Typically, it's there's no interview typically with an I-90 request, and so you know, typically it's not a big deal, right? Whichever one you push, except that you can request accommodations for your biometrics appointment. Okay, great. So then read the penalties here on page 4, and there's an application statement, and you're either saying that you can read and understand English, all right, or that you don't read and understand English, but you had an interpreter help you with read every single one of these questions. And if you had a preparer, then you say, hey, the preparer prepared this application for me. So if you're working with an attorney, you're going to set that. And my name is Otis Landerholm, so that's who I am for the preparer of this particular form. But you want to put whoever it was that actually prepared your form, unless it was yourself. All right. If it was yourself, then you don't have to check that at all. All right. So then your applicant's contact information, you want to put your phone number, mobile phone number, these can be the same, all right, and your email address, all right, and then you're going to sign it on 6A right there. You're going to print it out and you're going to sign it, and you're going to date it right here, all right. Then if you had an interpreter, and only if you had an interpreter, the interpreter will fill in their information, pretty straightforward. They're going to put the language, say that the interpreter is fluent in English and Spanish. They would say that. And then the interpreter would sign and date, all right? And what they're signing to is they're signing that they've read to this applicant in that language every single question and instruction on the application, and that they agreed to the contents before they signed it, all right? So part 7 is the preparer's information. So this is where I would put my information in. I always do last names in caps, first names normal, and then we do our A.P.C, and then mailing address and all of that stuff, all pretty self-explanatory. And then I say that I am an attorney, and that we typically are representing our clients for more than just this application. And then I sign after the client signs the form, all right? So then here's the form, that's great. And so then we want to go over including whatever evidence we need to submit with that form. And so sometimes the evidence is what's called Form G28, which is a signed statement from the client saying that we'll be their attorney of record, all right? But for more evidence, you also want to look at your instructions. And so you want to make sure you're attaching the correct filing fee. You want to make sure that you have 2 photographs. Basically, you need 2 passport-style photos taken within 90 days. And go through carefully, line by line, page by page, all of the instructions, because depending on your classification, right, they will ask for various documents. So for example, since we checked item number 2B, all right, it says my previous card was issued but never destroyed. It says select this reason if you never received your card. Submit a copy of the latest Form I-797, Notice of Action, for any of the following forms that should have resulted since the issuance of your permanent residence card. So that could be Form I-485, Form I-751, Form I-829, you know, and several other potential forms. They might also want the receipt notices of that form, all right? It says you must also submit a copy of government-issued form of identification that contains your name, date of birth, photograph, and signature, all right? So for example, a passport and driver's license. So these items, you'll want to pay attention to them because they are what's required with the I-90 is different for each different type of I-90 that you're going to be filling out. And so make sure to read the instructions carefully, all right? And you'll want to include the evidence that they're asking for along with it, all right? All right, cool. All right, let me see if there was anything else that I wanted to include here. Yes, you'll want to include, if your biographic information is legally changed, you're going to want to include information about the legal name change, for example. And just glancing through the rest of this, Section B doesn't apply to us here today. Sorry, I'm going kind of fast because I'm on a time crunch here. Processing information, location where you applied, list the location of the U.S. Embassy, Consulate, or USCIS office where you filed your case. All right, categories, all of these instructions I think are fairly self-explanatory. Do not mail cash. All checks or money orders are payable to U.S. Department of Homeland Security, so make sure when you write your fee that it says actually that U.S. Department of Homeland Security, all spelled out, all right? It even says here, spell out U.S. Department of Homeland Security, do not use initials. Fee waivers, where to file, all right? I'm gonna do a quick search for photos because I do think I didn't see that directly. Okay, yes, your biometrics appointment will happen. Okay, I don't see a specific requirement. I thought that there was one. I don't see a specific requirement for 2 passport style photographs. And I'm surprised by that. Typically, we would always submit that. Let me see here. Passport style photographs is what I'm looking for. Okay, well, I don't see that that's a requirement, so that's interesting. I'm going to just glance through the I-90 itself and see if it says that anything about passport style photographs anywhere in this. Photocopies, that's not what we're after. They'll make a biometrics appointment and request fingerprints. Okay, that's it. Okay, great. And so that's it. So then what we would do in our office is we would write a cover letter to explain the I-90 that we're submitting. And then we would attach the form, we would attach the evidence, we would include the filing fee, and get it mailed off. So hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And let me say one other thing about I-90s real quick. If you have been in immigration court, or if you have a criminal record, or if you think that for some reason you are quote unquote deportable from the United States, talk to a lawyer before you submit an I-90. All right, we have had cases where people submit I-90s on their own and they end up being put into removal proceedings because they're quote unquote deportable, or because the immigration service or because ICE believes or alleges that you're deportable. And so if that's your situation, please do talk to an immigration lawyer before submitting your I-90 because you don't want that to happen. You don't want unpleasant surprises. All right. So that's all I got. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope this was helpful. If it was, and if you're seeing this on YouTube and if this is your first time encountering us, please subscribe to our channel. Please give a thumbs up to the YouTube video to let the internet know that that this was valuable content for you. And thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Otis Landerholm, founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.